Oh man, this place is just so rich in edible plants and medicinal plants. This one here, of course, I think you know this one. I've shown this to you many times. This is Japan holly. These leaves have caffeine in them, which is really helpful to know if we had a shortage of coffee and if you're like me and you've got a little bit of an addiction to coffee. So let's take a look at that bark there. It's like a grayish white, and these leaves here, the reason that this is such an easy one to identify is take a good look at those like rounded serrations on the leaves. That's the first thing that usually catches my eye. These can get pretty big. This one here is about 3.5 feet tall, and then of course growing right within it is our good friend muscadine grapevine. So the muscadine grapevine, these leaves are edible. You can actually wrap the bigger ones. It's really handy. You can wrap stuff in it and cook it like almost like a burrito. And I'm not seeing grapes on here right now, but we'll see if we can find some other grapes as we go along through today's trails. Hey friends, welcome back to Prepping with Sarge. Today, let's go foraging. All right, now this one here is partridge berry leaves. I'm not seeing the berries themselves, but I think it is a little bit early. Now they do look a little bit similar to oregano, but these have like a ground vine. They tend to be found in like wooded foresty areas like this in the undergrowth. So just kind of keep your eye out as you're walking and give you a good close look at the leaves. These leaves have like a wintergreen type taste, and the berries are also edible. And we'll see, maybe we'll find some as we go. The flowers are usually whitish. I'll try to see if we find any flowers to show you what those look like as well, but that is partridge berry. So at the time of filming this, it is actually mid-spring here, and I'm in South Carolina, but a lot of the plants that I'm going to show you today can be found all over the United States. All right, now check out behind me here. Those are cattails. Now, cattails, I've shown you in several videos, the seed heads that you've got like right there, those are actually make great tinder for your fire starting, and they have some ability to be used for other things such as stopping wound bleeding, things like that, because they're very absorbent. The stalks themselves have, if you cut into them and peel them back to get to the heart of the stalk, has a really nice celery-like flavor and texture. Cattail is a great plant to know. The only caution with this one is that a lot of times these are gathered in areas where there's a lot of toxic runoff. This area here where I am is very, very clean. I would have no problem eating anything that I forage out of right there. But be careful if you're near like a highway or factories or urban areas and you've got these things growing, because they do have a tendency to soak up a lot of the bad chemicals in the ground and in the groundwater. They like marshy areas, as you can see here behind me. And that's good because they're actually taking chemicals out of the ground and the groundwater. They're doing a purpose, but you don't want to forage those ones. You want cattails, you got them. That is the mother lode of cattails right there. Check that out. You could feed an army off of those. Now, another caution here that I want you to be aware of is that because they grow in like wet, marshy area like that, you do need to be careful. We do have gators and water moccasins in my area. Know what's dangerous in your area and just make sure you're watching your step at all times when you're out foraging in an area like this. I'm actually hesitant to show you this next one because I have a love-hate relationship with it. All right, this guy here is Smilax greenbrier. A lot of people in my area call it the devil's weed or the devil's vine. Yeah, this one, so you can eat the leaves. They have a spinachy kind of taste to them from what I understand. I haven't read them. I actually think I might have a mild allergy to this one because whenever I touch it, there's like briars on it, as you can see. See if I can get a picture of it. There's briars in there, as you can see. And I tend to, if I get scratched by it, I tend to have a pretty bad reaction. Not that I need to go to the hospital or anything like that, but it will get red and itchy for several days. So I haven't tried to eat this one. Be careful with it. But it is technically edible for most people. So as we walk along here, one of the concepts that I try to tell people is when you're foraging, one of the places where it's good to look for edible foods is where two systems meet together, right? So in permaculture, there's an expression that we use called abundance exists at the edges. So where two ecosystems meet, you're going to find a lot of biodiversity, right? So we just came out of that marshy area there, and now we're back in the woodlands. There is tons and tons of edible plants. And the marshy area is right through those trees over there. That's where we just came from. There's tons and tons of edible and medicinal plants where these two ecosystems are meeting. And can we just have a moment for how beautiful this area is? I mean, look at this. Love my state. In the comments down below, tell me a little bit about where you live. Where are some of the places that you like to go hiking? And again, just another caution, something I want you to be aware of. See this little wood pile here? Falling out of these trees, and these leaves here. These areas like this, copperheads and other types of snakes love spots like that, so just be careful. I know if you're like me, I love to be looking up and looking at all that beautiful nature, right? But you got to be also paying attention to where you're stepping. A copperhead in that brown pile of leaves would blend right in. You wouldn't see it until you stepped on it, so you just got to be aware of it, that it's an issue out here. All right, and so now we're entering into, these are formerly some rice fields. And this is, again, one of the reasons I love this is we just have, in this one little spot over here, we have such diversity of ecosystems. We have swamp, we have wooded forest, we have abandoned rice fields, and this has been allowed to be overgrown with, so it's like a natural preserve. There's tons and tons of birds and wildlife out here. If we're going to spot a gator today, this is, out here in these rice fields is where we're likely to. So we'll keep our eyes open. Maybe we'll get lucky today. I'll get you some footage of a gator. So occasionally somebody will message me and say that they really like the foraging videos, but they're afraid to start for themselves. They're just, they're afraid they're gonna eat something that's toxic. So I'm gonna link down in description down below one of the books that I highly recommend. It's from my friend, Dr. Mark Vorderbergen, Mark Meriwether Vorderbergen, who I got to meet at Georgia Bushcraft. He also runs a website where he teaches people how to forage, does a lot of foraging classes. If he's ever at an event and you get to train with him, I highly recommend it. Great person. Sometimes people ask me if they can come train with me here in Charleston. I am not currently doing any of those type of classes, but I can give you the name of somebody who is in my area that does those, somebody that I trained with before and that I highly recommend. So just let me know if you're gonna be in the area and I'll try to introduce you to that person, or I'll try to give you their contact information anyways. You wanna be cautious when you're foraging. You definitely don't wanna ingest something that's poisonous, but I also don't want you to be so afraid that you're not willing to try it, right? So I usually tell people, start with 5 plants in your area. Get to know those plants really well until you can recognize them every single time and you're 100% sure, and then pick 5 more. Just start slow. Get yourself a good book like the one I put in my description and start slow. It's just such a fun hobby to be able to come out and find, even if you're not going to eat it, just finding stuff that you could, and enjoying that sense of like independence, that in an emergency you actually could feed yourself and you could learn to find medicine if, for example, the pharmacies didn't have what you needed. Okay, a couple more here I want to show you. This here, I don't particularly eat this one myself, but one of my friends does, and there is some discrepancy in the foraging community about whether or not this one is edible, but I can tell you I know somebody who does eat it. This is called dog fennel, and it has a dill-like smell to me. I really like the smell of it. The cool thing about this one, why I'm showing this to you even though I'm not going to eat this one, is it has some insect repelling properties, right? So if you were building a shelter out and you got lost in the woods and you had to spend some time overnight, I might put some of this around my shelter. I might rub this on my skin. There's a couple other plants that go around here that help with insect repellent too. If I find another one, I'll show you, but this is one that I do know of. And I might even, like, if I was having to do something like that in a survival situation, I might actually pull some of this and like smoke my campsite with it. In other words, like put the green stuff on the fire and let it smoke. That's not proven conclusively that will drive off insects, but couldn't hurt, right? Right next to it here, we have very, very thorny sawtooth blackberry. There's no blackberries currently growing on this one. We'll see if we can find some blackberries elsewhere on the trail. And I just passed a couple people who told me there was some baby gators in here, which means Mama's probably around too. But I'm not seeing them all. Let me give you guys a good look at it and see if you see it. If you do, let me know in comments down below. You know, you kind of look for like little like bumps in the water and things like that. The babies have stripes, so they tend to be a little bit easier to spot. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Let me look on the other side. Maybe they moved to the other side. Seeing it. All right, we'll just keep our eyes open. So the camera's not going to pick it up, but right about where, let's see if I can get it, right about where my finger is on the screen, right in the center of the screen, there is something under the water that looks pretty large. I don't know if that's mama gator or not. I'm not seeing them today, but oh, there he is. Okay, there's a baby over there. All right, blow right up on him. Okay, on the banks, right in the center of the screen. Do you see him? Put him right in the center, right there. Baby gator, and see the stripes? That makes it a little bit easier to spot those. So that means Mama is here somewhere. There you go. I told you we'd try to find some blackberries. They're not ripe yet, but that's okay. So those are sawtooth blackberries, close relative of dewberries, of course, if you know what dewberries are as well. And there's the flowers, so you know what to look for. Now these will turn, let me see if I can pull one off. So this will turn reddish and then black or like purplish black as it's ready to eat. Okay, so there's a baby gator here. It's really cute. Trying to put them right in the center of the screen for you. That's as close as I can blow it up for you, but let's see. Man, it's hard to see, sorry. There we go. I got him in the center of the screen right now. See the stripes and I'm gonna move just a little bit. You can see his head now is on the center of the screen, and that's his tail in the center of the screen. It's a baby gator. Which always makes me ask, where's Mama? All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed that today. I hope you got something of value, learned something new. If you did, please consider subscribing and dropping a big old thumbs up. If you're brand new to the channel, please consider subscribing, especially if you like videos about foraging, gardening, wilderness survival, and general preparedness. Drop videos twice a week. Friday nights, I'm usually doing a live stream. Would love to have you pop into the live stream and introduce yourself. And for those of you who are already subscribed, thank you so much. If you could do me one more little favor, just check the notifications and make sure you've got that bell turned on. Lately, I've been having some problems where people are telling me that they're not getting their notifications. I know sometimes when they do changes to the system, it does tend to cause some problems. I myself have been unsubscribed to channels that I regularly follow, and I can tell you that I did not unsubscribe to them. It was done by the system or either by mistake or intentionally, I don't know. But I would love to have you check that. Make sure that you are subscribed with the bell notification on. And don't forget to check down in the description below for that book that I linked for you and several other deals and discount codes that I've put in there that are for products that I think that you would like. Keep planting your seeds, keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.